My earliest memories were growing up here in this house, really cutting alfalfa with my grandfather. It's always been part of my life, and even now I say that it's part of my routine to wake up early before it gets too hot and cut some alfalfa and feed the animals. Weaving has always been part of life in Teotitlán, and it actually defines us as Teotitecos or as Zapotecs. I think weaving is just part of our identity. People learn at a very young age. Like my dad learned when he was just high enough to get on a loom. My mom said that she learned to weave actually by herself. I am actually a slow learner. On the other hand though, my mom was telling me the other day that my brother learned very fast. I was like, yes, he picked it up quite fast. Weaving also feeds us, and it also allowed me to afford a higher education. And weaving those symbols that tells those stories, we have preserved a lot of our ancient knowledge and understanding of the world. And I think that's why we weave a lot of the traditional patterns and symbols that you find and you could see on the walls of Mitla. That's why I think weaving is not just an activity. It really has helped our village to overcome poverty. Here in Oaxaca, okay, I was different, I was Zapotec. The sad part is that even if it's not a strong discrimination, I grew up seeing this. This hurts. My dad only studied till like third grade. My mom, she studied 5th grade, and they don't speak perfect Spanish. We speak Zapotec every day. And it's very subtle, but you can tell. Like when we go to a government office, people treat them with disrespect. And I think it's just the way that Mexican society is still like this. It's always been there deep in my mind that I should get an education and do better to be able to overcome those shortcomings that I saw as shortcomings but in fact are not. In 2008, when the economy collapsed or the rug business was really low, that's when I made the decision to go to the UK to study. So why not just go straight for a PhD in industrial engineering? Learning about production and management would help me to support my family's business. I only applied to the University of Liverpool. They had a program about sustainable product design, and that really caught my eye, so I applied there. We're producing all these things that, might not have like a deep quality intrinsic to that product. And then when I looked at our rugs, I was like, well, that rug has the best quality. I was introduced then to the concept of sustainability and eco-friendly products. We use natural dyes, we use muscle power, We use firewood from renewable sources. In Mexico, there's a lot of debate: what's an art, what's a handcraft, you know? But I think for us, it's, call it whatever, it's meaningful because the way it's made and what it represents. And I think that's what I like, you know, about being a weaver and about weaving rugs here. And maybe that's what brought me back. I would say competing in this globalized economy, we're still adapting and doing quite well. I think in that way we're quite resilient. So I would also like to figure out how to adapt to the future, to the next big changes that are inevitably around the corner. So I think that's part of my main motivation for being back. When I was flying through Oaxaca, everything looked brown and like dry. The opposite of the UK, where I think somehow everything is green all the time. And I got here and I saw my house. I was like, we're poor. But I mean, after that initial just superficial shock, I was like, but we have more than that here. And I helped my dad in the farm every morning, riding horses bareback, just in the hills. And I had this amazing time that I almost didn't want to do anything else. I was happy. In the UK, I was an exotic person because I was Mexican. I think I had that big realization when I asked myself, why are these tourists coming to Oaxaca from so far away? And I realized that they were coming here because all of the knowledge and history and the rich history that we had. And at that moment, I started learning about myself, my own culture, to understand it better, and then to be able to explain it and to share it with those that didn't understand it.